Hello my beautiful friends. Today I am starting off a new vlog and one that you guys really wanted me to do, and that is a Bookish cozy mystery vlog part 2. I will link the first one I did above if you didn't see it, but this basically is going to be the ultimate bookish video. I have quite the ambitious TBR. I don't think we'll get through every single one of these, but we're gonna try to get through most of them, and I'll go over those in just a moment. I also am gonna do some cooking or baking or maybe a little bit of both, but we're gonna have just a really fun, cozy, bookish time. So if that sounds good, I hope you'll hang around. Let's go ahead and hop into the quick TBR. So I have 6 books here in total. I have 3 that I'm calling my priority reads. These are the ones that I definitely want to read or need to read during this vlog. And then the other 3, I'm hoping to get to at least 1 to 3 of those, depending on how quickly I'm reading this week. We'll see. So let's start with the priority ones. But that is The Body in the Bookstore, a secret bookcase mystery by Ellie Alexander. This is the cover. It's the first book in her new series. And essentially in this one we have our main character Annie Murray. She is a bookseller and a body is discovered between the secret bookcase in her bookstore. She gets involved in the case. She also has an old criminology professor turned amateur sleuth who is helping her out, which I think is going to be really interesting. And I'm just a big fan of Ellie Alexander's work, and I've been dying to get to this series, so I definitely wanted to prioritize reading this, especially because I haven't announced this on my channel yet, but I'm going to be going to the Ashland Mystery Festival in Oregon in October. I'm really excited. Let me know if you're going. I would love to meet some of you if you are. It's kind of a more last minute thing I just discovered I'm gonna get to do, so I'm really excited, but I really want to get reading on this series. This next one is a priority because it's a library book and it's gonna be due soon and I need to get reading on it. So this is called For Whom the Book Tolls by Laura Gale Black. It's an antique bookshop mystery series, which I love antique mysteries, so I think this will be really fun. So it sounds like our main character Jenna Quinn has kind of some bad luck and she's had some unsavory things happen to her in her hometown of Charlotte. So when her uncle invites her to North Carolina, to the small town, to help him with his antique bookshop, she takes him up on it. But when she arrives, her uncle's body is found dead in the antique bookshop, and the police think it's her doing because she's the primary beneficiary for his shop and assets and stuff like that. So she's got to get involved in this case to clear her name. I think this sounds really interesting. I haven't heard anyone talk about this series. Let me know if you've read it, but it's not one I've really heard discussed. So I'm really excited to dive into this one and knock it out before its due date. And then the last one for my priority reads is I want to start the Booktown Mystery Series by Lorna Barrett. So this is actually a volume of the first 3 in the series. I bought this at Goodwill, but the first book in the series specifically is called Murder is Binding, and it follows our main character Trisha. She works in a mystery bookshop, but what's cool about this entire series is that it takes place in a book town. So the town itself wasn't doing very well with its tourist attraction trade, so somebody suggested they book theme it. So everywhere, the whole main street is book themed businesses basically. So you have cookbook stores, you have mystery bookstores, you probably have a historical store, all these different themes, a romance store, etc. So I think that is going to be so much fun for this. There's also an adorable cat right here, so I'm really excited for that. And it sounds like with this one that Trisha is a possible suspect along with some other people in the case of one of her neighboring store owners' deaths. So that's kind of the general premise for this. I'm really excited. I'm really wanting to knock this one out because it's such a chunky book. It's taking up so much room in my physical TBR section of my bookshelf. So I'd really like to be able to hopefully move this, but we'll see. So I'm going to start with book 1, A Murder is Binding. The other books I have that are strong contenders, I really want to read this. This is one I checked out from my library. It's called Bitter Words. This is by Jan Fields. It's Secrets of the Castleton Manor Library. I read book 1 actually in the first Bookish Cozy Mystery series, and I adored it. It actually really shocked me. I thought it would be good, but I loved it. The writing was so clean. But what's interesting is that the main character in this, Faith Newberry, and her cat Watson live on this really big estate of the Castleton Manor, and they are the librarian there, and they have lots of different valuable books and things. They have lots of mystery themed events, all these really cool events at this castle, which I think is such an amazing setting. You get to read some parts of the story from Watson the cat's perspective, which is really fun as well. And what's interesting is that each book in the series is written by a different author. I think a few of them do repeat later in the series because it is a very large series, but I'm really excited. I'm hoping I like this author's writing style as much as the first one, because the first one was 5 stars for me. But it's a really short read. It's just just over 200 pages, so I think I can probably get through this during the vlog. We're gonna see. And then I have two for my physical TBR because I'm really trying to power through my physical TBR. So one of them is a new one to me. It was one that was very kindly sent to me, and that is Mayhem at the Orient Express by Kylie Logan. This is a League of Literary Ladies mystery. And this is a book club cozy. And this one is actually going to be centering around the Orient Express. So these three ladies are forced together to do a book club after they were squabbling, and the town magistrate was like, hey, this is your punishment. I don't know if they can do that, but I think that's really fun. And they're very different. They have very different personalities, but they agree to read The Murder on the Orient Express for their first novel, and they go to the Orient Express, which is a new Chinese restaurant in town, to meet up and discuss the book. While they're there, someone ends up murdered and they get involved in the case. One of them is described as a hippie cat lover, and that's who owes cat, I'm assuming, is here, since they have this little like tie-dye handkerchief. So I am really excited for this one. It just sounds like so much fun. So I really want to read that. I want to read all of these. We're gonna try. We're gonna try to get those first three, but oof, I want to read all of these. I'm having such a moment right now where I'm so inspired by so many books. I mean, I normally am, but I'm just really like wanting to read everything. And then the last one is one of my physical TBR. It's The Readaholics and the Falcon Fiasco by Laura De Silveiro, and this is a book club mystery. So this is also a Bookish book club mystery series. What's interesting is the main character's name is Amy Faye, and this is a small town at the base of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, which I think is a beautiful setting. There is a really cute cat on the cover. Amy actually runs an event planning like service. That's her job, but she has this book club with the Readaholics, and they read different books, and I guess these gals are going to be solving a kind of mystery. She also has some personal drama in this because she accidentally agrees to event plan a wedding, not realizing that the groom is her ex, which is really awkward. How am I going to pick between these? This is the problem with being like a mood reader and also just loving cozy mysteries, is there's so many and so many series like to go through. I think I'm gonna start with Murder is Binding by Lorna Barrett, because this is, the book itself is very like large compared to the average like mass market paperback here. So it's actually like 200 pages. This is like the first book right here. These are the other two. So I feel like I should be able to fly through that pretty quickly, and I want to get some like momentum going. The other one I'm really wanting to go to is The Body in the Bookstore by Ellie Alexander. I know it's going to be good. I don't know. I'm just, we're having indecisive moments right now, but I'm very excited. I think I'll start with a Murder is Binding because that just sounds good, and I really want to hopefully knock this chunky book off of my physical TBR this year. That would be nice, assuming I like the series and want to continue, of course. But that is our intro for this. Let me know, guys, if you have a favorite bookish cozy mystery series. I would love to hear it, and I'll see you guys in a moment. Hello beautiful friends, I just wanted to share I got some book mail and I'm so incredibly touched by this. So my friend Sonia, I'm gonna link her channel down below. We've done some live streams together recently and it's been so much fun, and she's just the sweetest soul, absolutely, and has the most beautiful accent. I'm just so jealous. But she reached out to me and offered to send me a pair of these like earrings. I believe she got off of Etsy or something like that. But she sent me more than just the earrings, and I wanted to show you because I got some books in here and I'm so excited. So thank you so much, Sonia. It's just truly, my heart is overfilled right now. Okay, so for starters, the card, which absolutely made me cry. So it was so kind. I love dogs, and I'm definitely gonna keep this. I'm gonna go pin it up on my bulletin board after this. That's what I do when I get special cards. I pin them on my bulletin board, and then after, when I switch my bulletin board over to the next set of whatever I'm putting up there, then I put this in my special card like keepsake. I have like a folder that I like organize them in because I keep them. So there's that. But these are the earrings. Tell me these are not the most amazing, oh here we go, let's see, most amazing earrings. It's Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus. I don't know how many of you grew up watching that, but I did watch quite a bit of this as a child, and I love her fun way of dressing, and of course she's a big reader, and she takes her kids on these exciting trips on the Magic School Bus to teach them different lessons about science and history. And then I'm blown away. So she sent me not one, not two, but 3 books, and these are from the Kitchen Witch mystery series by Lynn Cahoon, because she said in her card, and this is very true, I'm hankering for autumn. I'm fully in autumn mode. I don't care that it's like 80 some degrees out right now and it's quite hot. I'm in a fall mood, as you can tell. One Poison Pie, and the main character in this, she's a kitchen witch. In the first book, she's left by her almost fiance, and she moves to her grandmother's quirky Idaho hometown, where she starts a gourmet dinner delivery business, and I guess she infuses magic into each one. I have really started to enjoy more supernatural cozies, especially when it's just kind of like a touch of fun magic, and this sounds right up my alley. Plus, how cute is the cat? The next one is Two Wicked Desserts. Look at that beautiful, adorable cat. Oh. And the town is called Magic Springs, which I love. And then we have this one here, which is 3 Tainted Teas, which looks perfect for like spring. But I'm already planning lots of fall content because I'm in my fall mode already. I've got to read One Poison Pie, which I think is the first book, in one of those vlogs because I'm so excited. So thank you so much. Plus just the way she packaged everything. I'm like, where do you even get these cute mailers? These are adorable. Then the last thing was some beautiful stickers. I love using stickers on journals and things like that anyways, but I started to get into reading journal as well. And I am so excited. I'm going to use some of these for that. So let me show you them. I've kind of laid them out on the counter because it's not practical to try to hold them up like this. So as you can see, she just nailed it. Like I love Disney, as you guys know. There's lots of really cute autumn, like fall inspired ones. There's cute dogs, lots of bookish fun ones. And then this bookmark, look at this. I am so overwhelmed and utterly blown away and grateful. Thank you so, so much. I'm just so excited. And look at this with the cute panda and koala in the teacup. I'm like, absolutely. So I'm sure these will be making some appearances very soon in my videos as I'm doing more reading journaling content. I love The Night Before Christmas. This one here, just the colors really strike me as so beautiful. I cannot wait. So thank you so, so much. I'm absolutely blown away. Please check out her channel. I will have it linked down below, but I'm so excited for this. And honestly, today has not been the most amazing day. It is like early evening right now, but I had a rocky start to the day. Just not a good day, like mentally, you know, when you're in kind of a funk. So I've been pushing myself through my work all day. So to receive this was just so overwhelming and such a pick-me-up, and thank you so much. So we're gonna go ahead and keep using this momentum. I've started the Booktown Cozy Mystery Series, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I will say I was a little surprised. There was a little bit of language in this, just like once or twice. I don't think it was super intense or anything, but I do know that a lot of cozy readers try to avoid that, so keep that in mind. I was also a little perplexed because now this book came out in 2008, so I'm assuming this author was probably writing it back maybe in like 2006 or something. but they used a word that I would not comfortably ever use myself, because to me at least, I know it is a slur. However, it wasn't used in like a way where I thought it was, the character was using it in a slur. If it makes sense. I feel like they were maybe using it more in the medical sense, but nowadays it would definitely not be considered an okay word to use. I don't know, like I felt awkward reading it. I'm not sure. I did look it up on Goodreads because I was curious if some other people pointed it out, and some people were very upset about the word being used. I'll put a couple pictures of it on screen because I don't really want to say the word myself. And then I had some people on there also who gave it good reviews overall the book and said that yes, you know, they didn't love maybe the use of this word, but the author, the series continues and it doesn't, you know, the author seemed to maybe like have learned not to use it after the first book, so maybe it was just kind of a mistake, or I don't know how, you know, during the time this book was published, I was a kid, so I'm not really sure how this word was perceived at the time. I don't know if it was considered, some people maybe were still using it in terms of just like the medical definition, while maybe some were using it as a slur, or maybe, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you because I just wasn't old enough to really be aware, so I don't know. To me, reading it now in 2024, it was definitely like, oh, okay, that's weird, but I'm trying to put it in perspective. I don't know. Let me know if you have thoughts on that. I definitely wasn't, you know, I just wasn't like an adult at the time this book came out, so I don't really remember having thoughts on this word at the time because it wasn't a word I was really ever around. So I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, I'm enjoying it. I really like Trisha. I also really love her sister Angelica. Her sister is very, very boisterous and fun, and she loves to cook. I actually think she has more personality than the main character, at least at this point. However, I do understand the main character is under a lot of stress right now because she's one of the primary suspects for this murder that has happened. So your personality is probably not going to be shining too much when you're under that much stress, I would think. So I don't know. So far I'm enjoying it. Not like a favorite so far, but like definitely interesting. I love the town setting. I like the history between the sisters and kind of what is happening with their subplot. So we're about halfway through it. I'm enjoying it mostly. I thought it was interesting that there was a bit of language and then the one use of that word, which did just throw me off a bit. I don't know. I'm not someone who like wants to write off a book right away if I spot something like that, because, you know, there's always room, I think, for growth, and maybe, I don't know, depending on how that word was perceived at that time, I'm not sure. But also maybe it was just an honest mistake and it wasn't used in like a way that I felt was trying to be malicious at all. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Let me know if you've read this series, what your thoughts are on it. But I am enjoying it otherwise. So I think I will finish it probably tonight before bed, and then I'll give you guys an update. So it's a bit later. I had my sliders, which were really good. I will link the recipe down below. We make them with turkey and cheddar instead of ham and Swiss. We've had them both ways. It's good both ways, but that's just what we had on hand was turkey and cheddar. And then instead of mayonnaise, I like using horsey sauce, which is like a horseradish sauce by Arby's. My husband and I are just fans of that, so I do swap it out with that sometimes if it's just us, and we really enjoyed it. So that was good. I did finish Murder is Binding by Lorna Barrett. So I'm slightly conflicted, as I think I gave the impression earlier. I'm gonna say 3.25 stars, which I know is kind of oddly specific. I enjoyed the setting immensely. The bookstore, all the details, the bookish town. I really liked Angelica, Trisha's sister. Trisha's the main character. I think Trisha needs a little more personality. I feel like I don't really know her super well after this first book. Like, I could tell you things about her, like her approximate age or what she does for a living, things like that, but I couldn't really tell you too many details about her personality, which I would like more fleshed out. But I did really love her subplot with her sister. I thought that was fascinating. So earlier I had spoken about how there was, I think I only caught one curse word, and there was one word that I think, at least nowadays, is considered, you know, a very offensive term to use, and I put some screenshots on screen. And after thinking it over, my thoughts on this are, obviously the word is not okay to use, but my thoughts are, this is an older book, and from what I read on Goodreads, a lot of the reviews said that that trend of using words like that or anything like offensive like that didn't continue. So I'm willing to read book 2 in the series because I did enjoy the setting and the characters overall. I really liked her employees. She gets a new employee in book 1, and he's a sweetheart. I want to learn more about him. So I want to read book 2, especially because I do have the first 3 books right here in this big chunker. So I'm willing to read book 2. I'm gonna watch out for any just general like cursing or language in general, and then also if there's anything like that that's very, you know, insensitive, offensive like that, I will keep that in mind and I will update you guys when I read book 2. But I'm willing to look past that. I think based on just the age of the book, and then the fact that a lot of other reviewers had said that while they also didn't appreciate this term being used, like the author didn't continue and seem to like learn from that maybe. So I'm hoping that's the case. I am going to read book 2 sometime in the future. I don't know exactly when, hopefully sometime this year. Like I said, I would really like to be able to knock this whole book, this big like 3-book set off my physical TBR. That would be great. Otherwise, I am 1 chapter, I know, very impressive, into Bitter Words, The Secrets of the Castleton Manor Library by Jan Fields, and I'm loving it so far. This is just, the writing is just so cozy and charming, and the estate is really beautiful. I'm looking forward to learning more about it. And in this particular one, they're having a cookbook authors retreat at the manor, which I think will be really fun because we're combining 2 of my favorite things, cooking and books. So I'm like, what could go wrong here? I mean, besides a murder. But I'm really excited for this. So this is my next read, which I know is not on my priority list, but like I said, guys, I'm a mood reader. I will get to those other books. I'm definitely feeling like I'm picking up my momentum with reading, which is really nice because I've been in a little bit of a slump recently where I don't know, just feel like very antsy. So I'm really excited. So this was a lovely day. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Hi guys, it's the next day. I have a quick reading update for you. I am halfway through Bitter Words, The Secrets of Castleton Manor. This is flying by. It's so good. There's already been so many good moments with Watson, who is the adorable little cat here on the cover. I really like Faith as a character. I feel like she's very level-headed. She's like just an awesome kind of quintessential librarian. She's very thoughtful and loyal. I like her developing relationships around the castle. I really love Watson and his little scenes. They're so much fun, and I like the characters that are introduced into this with the cookbook signing and like event that all these people are here for. I'm learning a lot about cookbooks and how recipes, I guess, they can't be like copyrighted necessarily. So there's like some drama over, you know, are people stealing recipes from other authors, etc. So I'm finding this very interesting. The book is going really well. I'm hoping to finish it tonight. I do have some social events tonight, but I'm hoping I'll be able to read some before bed and hopefully give you guys an update on it tomorrow. So that's kind of my quick little update. I've been reading on my lunch break, and yeah, I'll see you. Good morning, friends. So I'm gonna put on some makeup and give you a reading update on 2 different books. We're having a good reading vlog. So I finished Bitter Words by Jan Fields, and then I'm halfway through, okay, maybe a little less than halfway through The Body in the Bookstore by Ellie Alexander. So I'm gonna give you updates on that. We're gonna start with Bitter Words. So like the first book in this series, I adored Bitter Words, and I love Watson. This is truly an amazing series if you are a cat lover or like a cute cat in your cozies, because the cat is so involved in a lot of aspects of the mystery, even like discovering clues and things. I really, really find that fun. I love the setting. I found it super interesting that instead of focusing on like fiction, this book focused on a cookbook, like festival at the manor. I thought that was really interesting because the author was kind of talking about the difference between those types of festivals, and it was just really interesting to learn more about the cookbook industry and like even like copywriting recipes, things like that. I have never really thought about it myself because I'm not, you know, writing cookbooks or anything. So I just found it to be super interesting. I really liked the setting. Again, beautiful. I really like Faith as a character. I feel like she's just the right amount of nosy while still being like kind of realistic about her sleuthing. It's not over the top, like she's not going crazy and like, I don't know, breaking into a bunch of things or anything like that. I found one of the central characters of the story, Cookie. She's like the celebrity author and a guest on this. She's like a celebrity author and she's also on a TV show that's rather dramatic, so there's like a film crew at the manor and everything, and I thought she was very interesting as a character. Very layered. I really thought they did a good job of exploring her character, even though this book is rather short. It's only like, it's just over 200 pages. So I really like how deeply the characters are explored, even though you have a shorter cozy mystery overall. Yeah, so overall thoughts, I thought the mystery was good. I did piece it together just before the reveal, but I thought it was really fun. I adore Watson. I mean, he's probably my favorite character. He just has so much personality, and you do, like I mentioned, get to read little bits from the cat's perspective, which I think just adds to it. It's really fun. Yeah, so overall, I would give this a 5 stars. I truly just flew through this. I had such a good time reading it. I would highly recommend it on so many levels. If you're a cat lover, if you like the bookish elements, this one in particular was really fun as a cookbook setting. I feel like cookbooks are kind of overlooked sometimes in bookish cozies, so I felt like that was a nice touch. And if you like events, because the book series is basically centered around different events or conventions or festivals or things like that that are being hosted at this big estate, so there's always really unique, fun characters being introduced. I like some of the tension between some of the employees in the castle. I feel like that adds to, you know, it's realistic. I feel like, you know, not everyone gets along with everyone, and there's definitely one manager who's a bit pushy. I'm really enjoying it. So those are my overall thoughts on Bitter Words. I would definitely recommend the series. Book 2 is just as strong as book 1 in my opinion. Really enjoying it. And then in terms of the body in the bookstore, wow. So Annie is a great character, and what I like about Ellie Alexander is she fleshes out the towns that she writes about so beautifully. Like if you are looking for a setting, like just beautiful settings that really come to life on paper, I feel like Ellie Alexander is truly a master at that. I love her main character Annie. She seems very realistic. She seems very relatable. She's got an interesting past that we're exploring that I think adds a lot of depth to her character. It's a little bit darker. I was actually slightly surprised. Still cozy in my opinion, but it was nice. I like it. And they're basically hosting this like murder mystery festival throughout the entire town. Not like all the other businesses are participating. Like one of the pubs is doing different themed drinks and stuff that are like mystery, and I just really like it. I'm loving learning about all the details. I would warn, with Ellie Alexander in general, if you are someone who wants the mystery to happen like within the first chapter or two, usually not the case. At least in my experience, usually there's quite a bit of setup, and that's the case with this one. But I personally really enjoy the setup, and I love the way she writes, so that's not a con for me. I just wanted to point that out in case you're someone who really wants the mystery to start like that. That is most of the makeup. I'm just gonna pop on a red lipstick now because I love red lipstick. It's my favorite makeup product probably. So overall, I definitely am enjoying this. I feel like it's gonna be a series I really go back to. I love Fletcher. He's one of the employees in the shop, and he's, I think, an older gentleman. He is Sherlock obsessed, so there are so many great references, which I adore. Yeah, that's my final thoughts on that. Thanks for getting ready with me today. I will give you another update when I finish that book, and then I'm going to start my final book for this vlog, which is that library book. I can't remember. It's like For the One the Book Tolls. But overall, really enjoying this. I think it's going super well. Hi guys, we're gonna go for a little nighttime walk. I think the sun is starting to set, so I'm trying to catch some cute footage of that. There's a little bench out, and I want to go ahead and try to do some reading while the sun is still up. So let's go check out that sunset together and see if we can get a pretty look at it. So yesterday I went and I did a bit of a library book haul between the library itself and the library book sale. So we're going to dive into that right after I give you a reading update. I finished The Body in the Bookstore by Ellie Alexander. Absolutely a 5-star read. This was so much fun. The ending actually took me for a surprise. I'm really interested in learning more about Annie's past with her friend Scarlett. She's actually a criminology student and she has a past kind of thing that happened with one of her friends that really has impacted her life to this day. I absolutely love Fletcher and Hal. They are the owner and employee of the shop, and they are both just such sweethearts, such bookish people. One of them is a big Sherlock fan, like to the max. I love it. There's so many references to Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes and different like classic authors throughout this, so I love that. I can't wait to see where this book goes. I think it's going to be really great. I also love her friend Pri, who owns the nearby like coffee shop. She seems like a really cool character, so I am so excited to read the next book in the series. Absolutely knocked it out of the park. For this vlog, I will be finishing with the last book, For Whom the Book Tolls by Laura Gale Black. So I need to read this because it is due pretty soon. And this is an antique bookshop mystery series. So I'm very excited for this. I don't think I've read anything by this author before, and it just sounds like a really great concept. And let's go ahead and dive into the book haul. So I will separate this by cozy and thrillers. This is predominantly a cozy mystery haul. I don't know what it was with the library book sale, but I really didn't find many thrillers, although I ended up walking out of there for $17 for a huge stack of books, plus the ones I checked out. So let's start with the book sale ones. So I've recently become a fan of Carol J. Perry's writing because she writes the Haunted Haven mystery series, which is very like lightly supernatural bed and breakfast one that takes place in Florida, and I want to read her series, which is the Witch City mystery series. So I saw this one here and it's called Now You See It, and this is part of a series. It's actually the 2023 release, so I have some catching up to do. Let me know if you've read this. Is it really important to read these in order, or do you think I can dive in at this point? Let me know. But that is a book I'm very curious about. One that is completely new to me, I think the author, the series, I haven't heard of it, is by Annette Blair. This is called Skirting the Grave, a vintage magic mystery. There's a cute cat on this cover. Love the gorgeous dress. So I'm not sure how the magic takes place in this series. It's supposed to be very like whimsical, so I'm hoping it's kind of light on the magic, heavy on the vintage fashion, which I think is really fascinating. But our main character is actually taking on a lot right now. She's helping her sister plan like the bridal shower, and she's also taking on a design intern, but when she goes to pick up the intern from like the train station, they're dead. However, they show up later at her door claiming to be that person, and now she's just plain confused. So I'm really curious. That sounds like an interesting concept. I think this is like book 4 in the series, so I'm not jumping in too quickly, but let me know if you've heard of this series or any of these. If you really want me to prioritize reading them, let me know if any of these stand out to you. So this author is T.C. Lotempio. I've read 2 of her series, or at least that I'm working on, but I've also heard amazing things about this one, which I haven't started, and that's the Nick and Nora mystery series, and her cats are actually Nick and Nora, and they name them after the classic detectives, which I think is hilarious. So there's some kind of gala for the cruise museum in town, and some kind of murder happens, and in this series Nick and Nora the cats are like actively involved in the sleuthing, from what I understand. T.C. Lotempio really does a bunch of cat and pet centric cozies, so if you like pet-centric cozy mysteries, you should definitely check her writing out. I'm really looking forward to this because I've heard some great things about it. I found a bunch of these, and they're all kind of in the same style, but they're different series, but I think they're from like the same publishing company, like Guidebook and Annie's, which I think, yeah, I have Guideposts and 2 from Annie's, but I think these are all like different types of like Christian fiction mysteries, I want to say. The first one that caught my eye was by Jan Fields, because I read Bitter Words by Jan Fields for the Secrets of the Castleton Manor Library mystery series, and this one's part of the Museum of Mysteries, and it's called Naughty or Knife. So it is a Christmas mystery, and it takes place in California. And our main character, Scarlett, works in the museum there. It's a very small seaside town, very idyllic, and she has some different things in her past that she's trying to, I guess, kind of go through and learn about throughout the series, which sounds really interesting. And she also has a good friend who runs the museum's coffee shop. There's a handsome FBI agent. It just sounds like a blast, and I really enjoyed Jan Field's writing in the Bitter Words, so I was like, well, I've got to pick this up. The other 2 are from Annie's fiction, and this one is the Antique Shop mystery series and The Secrets from Grandma's Attic. I'm not sure if these are like The Secrets of Castleton Manor where the author changes each time. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But this one was an interesting concept. So this one takes place when there's this progressive dinner that's supposed to welcome different members of the faith church in town, and at this like get together for the church and the new church members, so they're robbed. So Tracy, the main character, is shocked to realize that the thief is someone they welcomed into their own homes, and she's racing against the clock. There's supposed to be a lot with different antiques or like historical sentimental items because it's Secrets from Grandma's Attic is the theme, so that sounds cool. And then the Antique Shop Mystery Series is this one. So our main character in this is Maggie. It takes place on the coast of Maine, a really small town, and she inherits this antique shop in this like manor from a belated, like a deceased relative basically, and she's really starting to understand what that relative meant when they told her that antiques all have their own secrets and stories, and this series kind of explores this. I'm not sure if it's a murder mystery series or if it's more like a heist one. I'm gonna figure that out, but it sounded cool, and for 50 cents I was like, come on, I mean, I'm gonna go, we gotta take that home with us, you know? Next, I found A Poisonous Page by Kit Crow, and this is a sweet fiction bookshop mystery series. There's a cute dog on the cover, which always excites me because I am a big dog lover. So the reason it's called the Sweet Fiction Bookshop Mystery Series is that the town itself was called Confection, which is really cute. And this takes place in Oregon. Our main character is Lexi. She runs a fiction bookshop, and she has an adorable, precocious pup. And unfortunately, one of the chamber members of commerce is murdered, and this just creates a really big issue, lots of hullabaloo in the town, and she's also worried about it impacting their busy season, and she gets involved in the case when one of her friends, Dash, who had dated, I guess maybe the member of commerce and someone else related to the case, gets involved and maybe is a suspect in the crime, so she's trying to clear his name. This is the second book in the series, so I feel pretty good about jumping into this book at this point in the series. Let me know if you've heard of this one, because this one was a new find for me. And then this one was not new to me, but it's a 3-book collection. This is part of the Needlecraft Mystery Series. This is by Monica Ferris, and I've actually read the first one in this collection, Cruel World, but Framed in Lace and A Stitch in Time are new to me. Our main character is Betsy, and she arrives in Minnesota to take a job at her sister Margaret's needlepoint, like needlecraft shop. However, in the first book, her sister is actually murdered. She gets involved in the case. The other 2 books, I'm not sure exactly what they're covering, but I'm really into these kind of crafty, cozy mysteries this time of year, even though I'm not someone who personally knits or does like needlework. But I really loved the first book, and I've actually read one that was like way further in the series and liked that one as well, so I thought this would be a good way to continue the series. Okay, and then these are the books I checked out from my library that I had on hold, so I'm just bursting at the seams with books right now. So firstly, we have one that I have had on hold with my library for like at least 2 months, and that's Peking Duck and Cover by Vivian Chien. This is part of the Needle Shop Mystery Series, and this is the brand new one that came out in, I think, July of this year, and this takes place during Chinese New Year, and the Asia Village is really trying to bring, good luck and good publicity to their plaza with all these different shops and things. Lana Lee is involved in the planning, and then unfortunately one of the members, I think, of the dance team ends up murdered. Yeah. Very classic cozy mystery setup, but I love this series. Lana is an amazing character. She has an adorable pug. Her best friend is hilarious. Her family is just so great and dynamic. I love them. It's one of my all-time favorite cozy series, so I can't wait to read the newest release. Next, I have a new one to me, and that's Murder of a Mail Order Bride by Mimi Granger. This is part of a Love is Murder mystery. This is one of the cozy mystery series that I put on my list earlier this year that I wanted to start the series for. My library didn't have book 1, but they had book 2, so I was like, let me grab book 2, see if I like it, and then I'll go back and try to get book 1 if I end up loving it. So our main character in this is Lizzie Hale, and she actually owns a romance bookstore, which I thought was a really fun twist, and all of the books have kind of like romance titles in some way, and so she's surprised because she didn't think mail order brides were a real thing, but 2 men in town recently have had mail order brides, and one of them asks her and like a family member to help them like get their Russian fiance and like bride kind of integrated into the new town, but unfortunately this woman is murdered and Lizzie gets involved in the case. There's also a very cute dog here. I'm not sure what kind yet, but very cute, so I can't wait to try that. One that I've heard nothing but good things about, and I'm really excited because I'm going to the Ashland Mystery Festival and this author's going to be there. This is Angela M. Sanders' Bait and Witch, which is this like witchy librarian series. So basically, Josie moves from working at the Library of Congress to a small library in Oregon. She wants like a refresh in her life, and she's shocked to discover that she's actually a descendant from a long, like, witchy family apparently. So she has some kind of magical abilities. I'm not really sure what. This is the first book in the series, but she gets involved in a murder case. She's trying to figure out these new powers, her new life. It sounds like a great start to a cozy mystery series, especially for this time of year. Another author who's going to be at the Ashland, Oregon Festival that I need to read some more from is Ellen Byron. This is the first in her Cajun country mystery series, and this is Plantation Shutters. I've been meaning to pick this series up for a while. It looks so fun. So our main character in this is Maggie, and she returns home to her family's plantation home turned bed and breakfast. And this takes place in Louisiana, so lots of southern charm. There's a lot of quirky different guests and characters at the bed and breakfast, and unfortunately this elderly couple keels over and it's discovered that this was murder, this wasn't a natural death. So she gets involved with the local homicide detective and her family to try to clear their names because they are one of the suspects involved in the case, because this was, you know, this happened at their inn. So she's trying to clear their name, and just she's kind of the prodigal daughter, it sounds like. Maybe there's some kind of family history there. It looks really cute. I can't wait to be introduced to the dog. I love southern cozies. They're just so charming and fun, so I'm really excited to see where this one goes. Hang with me. We have a couple more cozy mysteries, then we'll hop into thrillers. Another one that was on my wanting to read and wanting to start this year list was this crafty one. It's called A Handcrafted Mystery. This is by Holly Quinn. This is A Crafter Quilts a Crime, and this is the second book in the series. Again, my library didn't have the first book, so I thought let me try it out with book 2. And this takes place in Hartsford, Wisconsin. Beautiful snowy weather. The main character, Sammy or Samantha, runs a like knitting quilting shop, and she and a couple of other artsy people in town get together to showcase their wares and to do this like contest, and one of them poses as a mannequin in their display, but it turns out she wasn't posing, which is really gruesome when you think about it. But I'm very excited for this. It sounds like there's going to be some good sleuthing efforts with her and her family, because it sounds like the detective on the case is kind of clueless. There looks like there's a cute dog, maybe a golden retriever on the front. Let me know if you've read anything about this, or if you have crafty cozy mystery recommendations. I'm on a kick right now with this topic, so I'm really excited to check that one out. For the coffee lovers out there, I have A Coffee Lover's Mystery by Tara Lush. This is Grounds for Murder, which I think is the first book in this series. And our main character is Lana Lewis. She runs some kind of coffee shop, and she's participating in a coffee competition in town, but her employee ends up leaving her hanging, just abruptly leaves. He has excuses. Well, he shows up dead, unfortunately, and she's one of the prime suspects because they had gotten into an argument over him leaving, and she digs into the case, you know, kind of classic start to the cozy. Again, a very cute dog. I'm excited because I believe Tara Lush will be at the Ashland Mystery Festival as well, and I have been meaning to get into more coffee and like tea cozies, so this fits that theme really well. I'm also checking out this one. It's a Desert Flowers Mystery by Lee Hollis. This is Poppy Harmon Investigates, and it takes place at Palm Leaf Retirement Village. I love the cover. It's very like vintage feeling. So our main character in this is Poppy, and she was looking forward to a very golden retirement, but it sounds like something happened with her finances and she's left penniless, and she decides to open a private eye investigation firm with 2 of her girlfriends. However, they're really not reeling in any clients, so she asks her daughter's like handsome boyfriend to be the face of the business, and shortly after that people are drawn in. He gets involved, or like they get involved I should say, with like some kind of heist or like missing jewelry case, which turns into a murder investigation. A little bit farther than what Poppy was thinking, but I'm sure she'll tackle it one way or another. This book looks so cute. I love the cover and style, and it's giving me Gladdy Gold mystery vibes, so I'm hoping it's going to be something like that because I love that series. And then another vintage like kind of clothing one, as you can see I'm on a roll. This is called Swayed to Rest by Diane Valerie. This is a material witness mystery. It is the first book in the series. And our main character in this is Polly, and she is a dress designer, and unfortunately her family's business, which is called A Land of a Thousand Fabrics, was boarded up after a family tragedy, but she inherits the shop later and she decides to restore it and reopen it. Well, shortly after that she's being pressured by like a property land developer to sell the place, and she's refusing. There's a murder that happens behind the shop, and she's thinking this might actually have something to do with her family's tragedy many years ago that led to the closure of the business. This sounds really interesting, and again, I'm just on a major kick with like clothing, boutique, vintage ones, as well as like crafty cozies, so if you have recommendations, let me know. I do spot two very adorable cats right here on the cover, so that is always exciting. And that is everything for Cozy Mystery. I do have one cozy fiction that I purchased at the library book sale, and that is The Last Chance Library by Freya Sampson. So I had checked this out at my library a couple months ago, but I ended up returning it before I could read it, and I loved Freya Sampson's Nosy Neighbors, and a lot of you suggested I read this book. It's supposed to be a little bit less of a mystery, but still very cozy, heartwarming, lots of community themes, everything that was really great about Nosy Neighbors. And it basically sounds like it's about this kind of quiet, introverted librarian named June, and she's very closed off. She really sticks to her job and her work, and basically she has to get involved in the community when the library is being threatened to close. So that kind of sounds like Nosy Neighbors, where a bunch of the characters had to band together to keep their apartment building open. I don't know if there's really a mystery element in this, that's why I said cozy fiction for this, but I'm really excited for this. Freya Sampson's writing is just like a warm hug. I really loved Nosy Neighbors. It's one of my favorite books I've read this year, so I'm very much excited to read this. Okay, and then thriller-wise, I have 4 thrillers. Like I said, I really didn't have much that I found at the book sale, unfortunately. We have The Last Breath by Kimberly Bell. And this is supposed to be a gripping domestic thriller. Our main character is Gia, and she's like a humanitarian aid worker. So she chases different disasters around the globe for a living. But many years ago, her father was imprisoned for beating her stepmother to death. And he's being released for his final days. Like, he's dying, unfortunately. And Gia is in charge of his care. And this is bringing up a lot of mixed emotions for her naturally, and she's also kind of grappling with all the rumors and things she's hearing from neighbors and questioning, did he really do it? So there could be some deadly consequences to figuring out what happened all those years ago, but Gia is going to be on the case for that. I'm very curious. I've had hit or miss experiences with Kimberly Bell, but it was a very good deal, so I was like, okay, let's just grab it. Another one that sounded interesting was Girl in the Rearview Mirror by Kelsey Ray Dimberg. I thought this cover was gorgeous, and it was 50 cents and a debut. I was like, okay, come on, like, you're practically paying me to take it at this point. As I never meant to lie, that is, I never wanted to. So it sounds like our central character in this is Finn, and she's working a very dull, like, low-paying office job, and she meets this very charming family and agrees to nanny for them. It sounds like they're probably quite wealthy. I think he's like an ex-football player, the husband, and she agrees to nanny for them, but she gets involved in their web of deceit. And then this young woman approaches her, claiming some kind of connection to the father. So it sounds like a very messy, psychological, domestic thriller, which sounds like right up my alley, and this cover just really caught my attention. I love the colors on it. Hi guys, it's a bit later. My camera died, so I'm just going to wrap up the last 2 thrillers for this. So the next one I got was The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekina. So I recently read House of the Glass, really enjoyed it, and wanted to pick this one up. And this one sounds like it's a domestic and like psychological thriller about a love triangle, and you're supposed to like kind of fill in that the original wife would be jealous of the newer wife or something like that because she's younger, but you're not supposed to assume anything because things are not what they seem in this. Something along those lines. There's not a lot of information about it, but it sounds really interesting. And then last but not least, we have The Hollywood Assistant by May Cobb, and I'm really excited because this was one of my most anticipated releases video, and some of you recently told me you read this and loved it. And basically this takes place with a Hollywood assistant. She's a young woman. Her name is Cassidy. She's stuck in life, heartbroken. She gets hired as this assistant to these 2 Hollywood celebrities, and she starts to get a little bit closer to the husband, but then something happens and it appears that she might have been set up by the couple. Hello friends, I am wrapping up this cozy reading vlog. I didn't really get a chance to update you guys on this. I apologize. It's been, just trust me when I say it's been a week, but I do want to give you an update now on For Whom the Book Tolls. And this is by Laura Gale Black. It is the first book in the Antique Bookshop Mystery Series. I checked out from my library. It was good, but it wasn't great. So we basically have our main character, Jenna Quinn, and she's had some trouble with her life recently. She's actually was even in jail recently for a crime that she was accused of. She was moving out to live with her uncle who owns this antique bookshop when she comes home and she finds him dead. He's been murdered. She's a prime suspect in the case. Okay. great start. I really like the touch with her backstory. I think that's a very interesting one because a lot of times cozy mystery sleuths are very like squeaky clean, like kind of the princess of the town where everyone loves them. So I kind of like it where she's a little bit of a new person to town and has kind of a little bit of a mysterious past. I found that to be interesting. I loved a lot of the side characters of this, but I found Jenna herself to be a little lackluster. She didn't have, like, if you asked me to describe her personality to you, I mean, she's like a nice person. She believes in giving other people second chances, but I don't really have a whole lot to say. I mean, she likes books, but I don't really have a whole lot to say about her as a person. I liked a lot of the side characters and I loved the setting. The antique bookshop was so cool and fun and lots of like little puzzles, and there was a cool tie-in. I thought the ending was pretty easy to call. I don't know. I would definitely consider reading the next book in the series. I'm just gonna say this is like a 3.25 for me. It wasn't bad. I don't regret reading it. I had a fun time reading it, but it just wasn't like an instant love for me. I would want to read one more in the series before kind of deciding if I want to continue or not. I don't know, I feel like that's kind of harsh, but that's just kind of where I ended up. The mystery was a little too easy for me, and I just thought it was kind of obvious from the start. I think the side characters were more interesting than the main character, which is a little bit of a shame, although I did really enjoy her next door neighbor, Rita. She had such a fun personality, very interesting job. I loved her. I don't know. I did like the ending with one of the subplots. I thought that was super interesting. I can't really go into that for spoiler reasons, but overall, I enjoyed it. If it sounds interesting, I would check it out. I would like to read the second book in the series before I would like strongly recommend the series, but I did have a good time reading this. So those are my overall thoughts. This is the second time I've done a bookish cozy mystery vlog. I will link the first one above if it's not already. So definitely check that out if you're looking for more bookish cozy mystery recommendations. And thank you guys for joining me. Please let me know down below, what is your favorite bookish cozy mystery series? I know there are so many out there. It's insane. So let me know what your favorite bookish cozy series is. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do post new book content every week on my channel, especially within the mystery and like cozy genres. So if you enjoy that, definitely hit subscribe. My name is Amy and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!